It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Kyle.
And apparently these lights that were probably bought off fake Temu, even.
so not even official Temu.
Yeah, Rimu.
Okay.
Obviously, which is the Taiwanese version of the Chinese version of Temu.
Sure. So if you just go straight through Rimu, you're actually cutting out the middleman.
We have to keep the profit margins in check.
And Steve.
God, I wish I could learn something about drop shipping. I feel like I could make a lot of money.
I could see you being into that. I really could. I could. There's not a lot more that I feel like if you read like 3 blog posts.
I feel like some would be insulted by that, but I'm not. I'm actually flattered. Thank you. Appreciate it. You look like the kind of guy who would be into drop shipping.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't dabble a bit over the last week or so into drop shipping.
You've looked more.
Just Googling, how does it work? What do I do?
Okay.
Because I don't want to have a warehouse full of crap. I want someone else to keep the warehouse full of crap. I want to be the middleman.
Now, this is surprising because in terms of warehouses, space-wise and full of crap, like you have that, right? Like you have space to add crap to make the drop shipping dream that all little boys and girls grow up thinking. We talked about it on the podcast.
All the little boys.
Years ago.
What do you want to be, Tommy?
Yeah.
I want to be a drop shipper.
I somehow need to find this because we talked about it on the podcast when I was in whatever grade it was, very young, right? And we were between 1st and 4th grade, and you're the student of the week or student of the month.
Yeah,
you answer some questions and they put it on some construction paper and tape it on the window, right? Mm-hmm. For everybody else to ignore. And one of the questions that they'd always ask is, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And the only time you see these referenced currently is usually during athletic events.
When it actually comes true.
Yeah, and you'll see like Randy Moss, and he'll have a 7 years old, and he had a Vikings jersey, and I want to be a football player. Mm-hmm. Oh, isn't that great? But they don't show you the 98%, well, not more than 98% of people who are putting their pipe dreams on there.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't give you a sad, sad look into the mentality and realization of 1st to 4th grade Kyle, me answering mailman... I answered mailman on that questionnaire, right? 8 years old. Yeah. And obviously I don't remember the circumstances around it. But I imagine one of 2 things possibly happening. And the first would have been the teacher saying, "You sure?" We had...
Anything in the world, Kyle.
Little Timmy.
Anything in the world, little Kyle.
Yeah. Little Timmy last month said he wanted to sailboat around the world.
Right. Yeah, like for instance... up until just recently, my daughter, who just turned 5, wanted to be a princess race car driver chef.
Yeah. And listen, when you and I were at those ages, we wouldn't have expected people to be able to say TikTok influencer.
No.
But here we
are. It
are.
didn't exist.
So the teacher's either saying, "Are you sure?" Or the teacher is later on looking at that paper, realizing they have to go tape it up to the window, whatever, looking at it and going, "Oh," because
mailman,
to realize that there's a child with that sad of a dream at that age, has to put a teacher's life into perspective.
I don't think that it's sad though. I think that even 1st grade Kyle, 2nd grade Kyle was very realistic.
Exactly right. But isn't that sad at that age?
Like some people want to walk on the moon.
Yeah,
but. Did that kid in your kindergarten class or your 2nd grade class or whatever, did he end up walking on the moon?
Sure.
No, of course not. But he could look back and say, I wonder if Kyle became a mailman.
Right. He could be.
It's a very reasonable thing.
He could see every one of those little trucks that, you hear it from 300 yards away. And going, man, I wonder if he got it. I wonder if he did it. I wonder if he took that test, got approved, and is sitting in that truck, riding through the neighborhoods, dropping off junk mail during election season. Mm-hmm. And that just goes to really reinforce, was it last week or a couple episodes ago, with keeping expectations in check. Mm-hmm. Family expects me to be able to change batteries, and it's a big hurrah.
That's it.
This goes hand in hand with me wanting to be a mailman. And I think this is a fun game to even look back on now.
Is it too late to
No.
live the dream?
I was just on the USPS website days ago.
Like looking for jobs?
Looking at careers just out of curiosity.
What
There was
do you
a
got?
post,
Kind of
it was a social media post, and I forget where it came from. But it said something along the lines of,
Be a hero?
I have one of those jobs that you hear about that does barely anything but gets paid a boatload. And so I clicked the link and it was like a blog post about some type of maintenance tech for USPS.
Oh, so not
the
even
local
an
facility.
Enter the Driveway warrior.
Well, you got to dream bigger someday. And I think when you're sniffing down 40, you've got to dream bigger.
Late 20s, almost 40.
So I was just looking at that the other day, just out of just general curiosity, no desire, no like intent to actually do it, but curious if those jobs are plentiful, if they're available. But in case you're wondering, the USPS does appear to be always hiring on their website.
Yeah, I see it all the time whenever I walk in there. The once or twice every 3 years that I have to actually go into a post office, I see signs saying, "Please, work here for the love of God."
And it's bordering on like what you see at McDonald's, where they have like the spray paint on the windows.
Right.
They're using their digital video board to say, "Please, please, dear God, come work for us."
Yeah. These fries don't make themselves.
Right. And as everybody know, well, everybody probably doesn't know, but right before, usually always we start recording, Steve always says, "Bless you, Into the Driveway Warriors, and thank you for your service." So as always, we repeat that sentiment. But do you think if you were to look at now coming up on mid-30s, early 30s, Steve, if you were to go back to first, second, third grade superstar student of the week, right? So you're going to have your questions. How old are you? How many siblings do you have?
What's your favorite food?
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite subject?
Because if you don't say pizza, you're insane.
God, I wonder what I even said. What if it was like wheat thins? I don't like wheat thins now. I don't know why.
Shredded wheat. But not even the kind with the frosting on it.
I really love a Cheerio with any seasoning really rinsed off.
Well, I really do enjoy chicken franchise. What?
So you get through those parts.
I actually remember some of my
Your answers
for, like the all about me thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if we were to go back, like if you had to try to remember what you would have said for 1, your favorite subject, 2, your favorite food, and 3, what do you want to be when you grow up? For third grade Steve then, and if we had to look now, like if you could go back to third grade Steve and say, this is my favorite food, whatever, what do you think? Obviously there's differences, but what are your guesses for original third grade Steve on your favorite food, your favorite subject, and what you want to be when you grow up?
Favorite food was definitely pizza. It was probably pizza with extra cheese.
Yeah, because you got to fit in.
I would say what I wanted to be when I grow up, it was either a pilot or an astronaut or a firefighter. Those were all...
Those are heavy hitters.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that, like, probably 80% of the boys in my class at that time had the same exact reply.
They're picking some form of first responder or hero.
I still remember the one kid, Brendan, in my class... And he said, "My father's a mathematician, and that's what I want to be." First of all, that's not a job.
Brendan,
yeah. I was actually pretty good friends with Brendan for a long time, but I just remember, my father's a mathematician.
You know, everybody picks those go back in time. And would you kill baby Hitler? No, I'd go back and I'd punch Brandon.
Brendan. No, you got it right.
With an O? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you had enough. He seems like a guy, even, obviously living hundreds or thousands of miles away and never meeting him. And he seems like a guy who's enunciating the O in Brandon.
It's Brendan.
Okay. So Brandon wanted to be a mathematician because Daddy was.
But that's not a job, right?
No. I don't know. How do you make money with math? Like just math. I'm not saying like become a math teacher or, go into an adjacent field. How do you make money saying... I know math good.
Like solving equations?
Yeah.
You work for, you just work for, I don't know, an automaker, and they say, "Quick, Brendan's dad, what's the square root of 28?
3 and change or whatever, right? And then the world's saved.
That's why we got a mathematician on
That's right.
staff.
That's why we've been paying the salary for this very moment.
All right.
I posted it on the poll. Can you make money just knowing math? Because I don't think you can. There's just no way, right? I mean, if AI can't figure it out, I don't know how regular jobs are.
Yeah.
So you're going standard hero, standard pizza. So right now, little Steve, not little Stevie Van Zandt, but little Steve, is fitting in.
Pretty generic. Yeah.
Right. The kids walking by are, the older kids are rolling their eyes because they know, oh, good, another one of these is up. Maybe next month we'll get Brandon, who wants to be a math magician. Okay, but for now, they're going to have to read another one of the same things, probably with a little wallet-sized photo taped on of Steve in a too large Eagles jersey with a football.
I definitely had
hand.
a Reggie White jersey back in the day.
Perfect. So, and then your favorite subject?
Science.
You would have gone science at that point.
Or gym.
Right, that's like the cool thing to do, right? Like recess or lunch.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know you could say that. Yeah, it was definitely, it would have been.
People will know I'm too cool for this.
People know I have no future.
But if you had to go back today and think realistic, normal life, if you said, hey, cheese pizza's great, but cheese pizza, is going to ruin your insides if you eat too much extra cheese pizza there, Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Pretty much my life was inspired by Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Steve didn't want the Pepsi, so his brother wouldn't wet the bed or whatever. Yeah. And then in true Macaulay Culkin fashion, killed an unknown brother like he did in...
The Good Son.
The Good Son, yes.
Oh, boy, that was evil. That was evil.
Quite a character arc.
Yeah. Good for him, though. He was being typecast as, the kid with the funny facial expressions.
So if you could go back, though, today...
So answer all the questions for now 43-year-old, again, mid-30s Steve.
Yeah, or even, like, if you could go, even, like, give a gentle nudge in a certain direction, right? Would you say, like, maybe pick, a cold cut sandwich that'll last you? Or would you say, hey, I know firefighters seem cool. It's not a super practical job, and you're not going to, like, smoke when you're older. Yeah, so just so you know, and also, guns are going to scare you, so you're not going to want to be a police officer. And hey, it turns out we didn't get the 0.1% genetics, so we're not going to be, football star.
Or an astronaut.
Right?
I wish I had stuck with that.
The astronaut?
Yeah.
Think you could have made it?
I think I could have made it.
You think you would have made it to be one of those people where you just kind of go up and visit the space station for like 7 days and, turn a few screwdrivers, eat a couple of those freeze-dried MRE things, and then float back down to the ocean? Know how they do it still?
Pretty much, yeah. It was just an elevator, space elevator.
Crash land right into the water, and they kind of guess where you're at. Got a couple tugboats in the vicinity.
We'll find them.
We got 60 seconds till we sink, so we'll be okay.
Shoot off a flare or two.
You think you would, knowing what you know now about astronaut training, the requirements and everything, do you think that's something that in your, let's call it your heyday, right? So pre-family, right? So where you can focus essentially on being the physical specimen that is needed to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
You think that's something you could have gone through? Physically, mentally, all of that stuff?
I think so.
Whew. I mean, I posted on the poll. I'm not doubting you. I know for a fact that I'm sitting here knowing like the spinning thing alone.
Yeah, but you didn't live the astronaut dream like I did.
That's true. I wasn't 7 years old dreaming astronaut dreams.
No, you were dreaming of, again, putzing around the block in a vehicle whose top speed is about 28.
Yep.
It's got
the steering wheel on the wrong side.
Got that sliding door on it. Your dreams were much more practical, and I admire that. Like, damn. Why didn't I have a shot of reality? Like, it just shows how you're an old soul living in a moderately old body.
A lot of people would say sad. Like, you can replace old for sad in that regard, and just and I think a lot of people would say, yeah, that makes sense. That's a sad reality. More people are groaning when they hear that I told a teacher at 7 years old that I wanted to be a mailman. People are groaning. Because that is not the mentality that children... You want your child to have. You want your children to dream big and hope for the moon, right?
Yeah.
And in your case, literally, hope for the moon. But like you said, I'm sitting here in my late 20s, early 30s, wiping my hands, knowing all you suckers failed.
I mean, you are much closer at achieving your dreams than I ever was at achieving mine.
Right. Well, I'll say this. I've driven a car.
Yeah.
And that's closer than anybody's been to flying a rocket ship to the moon.
You know, I flew an airplane.
You did?
I've flown an airplane twice.
You did. I wonder who... I'll try to post it on the poll.
I mean,
who would you consider closer to their dreams? Kyle driving a car or Steve flying an airplane?
Because, and I did this, I haven't talked about this yet, but I did this within the last 2 weeks. I flew an airplane. I know.
First of all,
I know.
We've got a laundry list today, which is okay. That's totally okay.
We'll get to this come, I don't know, November, December.
No. We can't do that. We need to stop the presses. We need to stop the presses. Listen, right. Disney World will be there. It was there a couple weeks ago. It'll be there next year. It'll be there taking everybody's soul and money for decades to come. Perfect. What won't be there is the memory of within 2 weeks, I can't shake this feeling that you are so antsy since this garage build is done. And I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying what it seems like. You said, I mean, to say the last few weekends have been out of the ordinary from an outsider's perspective, I think is fair. You spent one weekend driving to a middle of nowhere town to buy mystery boxes from Amazon.
Oh, that was months ago.
Oh, okay. And you've decided to get up in the skies again and test the clouds. So...
Look, once you've tasted the wild blue yonder, it's hard to get that taste out of your mouth, you know?
So this is the second overall time you've been in charge of an airplane, right?
Kyle, hold on. Let me just pull something up for you. Let me pull up the My Flight Book app.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you had to download an app for this?
And show you. Yeah, that's right. I got 0.7 total hours behind the stick.
Okay.
Behind the wheel.
The yaw. Is that a thing?
I think that's, I'm not going to say. I don't have any reason to think that I know what I'm talking about.
So you showed up to the local regional.
Yeah.
With your leather helmet on.
Yep.
Your goggles.
And my scarf.
Because you figured... The cool breeze blowing through the open cockpit.
Yeah.
At 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start with a biplane.
Oh, no. And this is one where you have a rope tied around one of the prop blades and you give it a tug and try to get out of the way in time, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can't imagine more airplane accidents than starting a prop with a rope.
It doesn't seem safe.
Unbelievable.
There had to be a better way.
Unbelievable. So what, because this happened years ago, where I believe a net for either an anniversary or a birthday or Christmas, some type of thing.
No, this was years and years. This was my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, it was? Okay.
At the time, bought me, I think it was for my birthday, bought me a flight.
Just trying to spark a tiny bit of that joy that she thought you had when you were younger.
Yes.
And thought, maybe if I can get him 5,000 feet closer to the moon, he'll realize that dreams can happen.
Yeah. So
you did that?
I did that years ago.
Yeah, it has been 10, 12 years ago then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easily. And I loved it, even though I barfed all over myself.
Oh my God, I did not know that. Was it during a spin or just the idea of it?
I remember we were...
That's fine. I can't... You're now Snoopy with that leather
and the
hat.
Red Baron.
Yeah, you're Snoopy with the leather hat and the goggles, but instead of that scarf, it's now loaded with your own vomit.
It's a lot closer than you'd think. So, yeah, we went up, and I had flown out of, the big airport around here. And so we're up flying around a little bit. We're flying over downtown, and it was awesome. And then the pilot said to me, the instructor said to me, he's like, oh, what part of town do you live in? And at that point, I was living at my old house. I I said, I'm over on the northwest side. And he's like, oh, cool. Let's
look for the Pizza Hut roof, but it's not a Pizza Hut.
right. Let's fly over there. So I remember flying over and looking down and being able to see my house. So I'm seated on the left side of the plane. And he's like, all right, just, put it into a 10-degree blah, 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 or whatever. So we basically just did some circles around the area of my house.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down, I'm looking out the side window, and I got the controls in front of me. Again, we went around 3 or 4 times.
And in my head, I'm already feeling the motion sickness from doing the circles and then leaning and looking. Okay.
It was super hot that day, too. Okay. These little planes don't have air conditioning. So.
Yeah, but the window's open, right? Because
right, yeah. Just got my arm on the...
World War, yeah. You're about to smack a seagull.
So... as soon as that thing, he's like, all right, now level it off. And as soon as I leveled it off, like I felt my stomach shift. And I was like, oh boy.
Like you could feel like when you watch the waves kind of like slot. Okay, that's your insides though.
Knew exactly what was about to happen. And since the instructor is very experienced at this, he knew what was about to happen too. So there's this, hey, Kyle, I'm going to teach you a little airplane lingo right here. You ready?
Now, is this like 10 to 12 years ago airplane lingo you learned?
This is legit airplane lingo.
Okay. Now, listen, I played Flight Simulator a lot when I was a kid, but I don't want to put myself in the same category, but just so you know.
That's right. Put your hands out like you're controlling the plane.
So it's a wheel thing?
It's kind of like
the 2 handlebar.
Like a yoke. Kind of like a Knight Rider. Remember Knight Rider, the steering wheel, but it wasn't like a full wheel?
Just like the attachment on the PlayStation, I push the buttons on top to shoot, right?
Yeah. Okay, the missiles are armed and everything.
Good.
So if I'm in control of the plane, say I'm flying, I want to hand control off to you.
Mm-hmm.
I say, your plane. Mm-hmm. What do you say in response?
Roger.
No. Oh, you big dumb idiot. No.
Would that be like boat lingo, you think? I'm not a boatsman either.
If I hand it off to you, I say your plane. You reply to acknowledge by saying my plane.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
that makes sense.
Your plane.
My plane.
There we go. Got some lingo for you.
Boy,
You're basically... If you download that app, I can sign off. Being superior with my 0.7 hours.
Right. Well, yeah,
I'm the obvious instructor in this scenario.
There's no planet where I would try to put myself in the same universe as you. Because the 0.7 hours does not happen by accident. No, it happens by paying somebody to take you on those 0.7 hours.
If I really wanted to, I could go back to the place where I took my first lesson and get that 1 hour added to. I could be up to
you could be on to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I think the next step is you're now delivering FedEx cargo planes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So at what point, because excuse me for not remembering the story, and we probably haven't told this one on the podcast because it was pre-podcast and it was more side gig. At what point did you vomit? And I guess how did that situation go? Because obviously you couldn't have been the first person to have done that because that's a jarring experience for the multitude of the population, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, we were doing the circles around my old house, leveled that plane off. I'm still in control of it. My plane, obviously.
Well, you told him.
So
he's snoozing. He's got the shooters. He's cracked a few.
So as we level this thing off, or as I level this thing off, because I'm in control again.
Your plane.
My plane. I start to feel a little tickle in my tummy. And at that point I said, your plane.
Oh, no. Was he?
And he said, my plane, took control of it, and immediately handed me a plastic bag.
Oh, okay. So he knew.
And so we're wearing these headsets, similar to what we're wearing right now, the over-the-ear headphones, but it's got the little microphone that comes down in front of it.
You're an Xbox player.
Yeah, basically. I was going to say professional broadcaster, but
Xbox player. And again, you got your controller from the 2 missiles of the front buttons.
Yeah, the pew-pew buttons.
Yeah, the pew-pewers. Okay, so you're video gaming.
So I then proceed to take the bag from him, say thank you, and
my God,
barf right in the bag.
Like that quick. So this was all
very quickly.
From your plane to vomit, what's the time estimate you can provide?
Less than 10 seconds.
So you've flown for 5 seconds. I mean, you personally have flown and piloted a plane at this point for less than 10 seconds.
I mean, I had been circling the house for a little while.
Gotcha.
I was in control. Again, my plane.
That's right.
But yeah, from the time of your plane to the bag being received to the vomit coming out, yeah, about 10 seconds. And so he said, hey, you okay? Everything good? And I was like, yeah, just really, it's the heat and the circle. He's like, totally normal. So
crack a window.
the lesson ended. We ended up landing the plane.
Mm-hmm. And your belongings, which now included a bag of
vomit.
Your own vomit. Okay.
I was responsible for carrying that.
Yeah.
And so then we went into the debriefing room, which is not what they call it, but we went into the office. I call it the debriefing room.
In a debriefing room with 2 chairs.
Right. Yeah.
Not even a filing cabinet, but no, that makes sense.
No.
Yeah.
We go in there and he said, I got to give it to you. Of all the people that I've taken up for a lesson, you're definitely not the only one who's thrown up.
Good.
I said, okay. And he said, but you are the only one that had the courtesy of flipping that microphone up.
Oh.
So I wouldn't hear you barfing in my headphones.
That and even the idea of getting the vomit.
Yeah.
On the headphones and on everything else.
I said, look, man, I'm a professional broadcaster. I know the microphone gig. That I could probably teach you a couple things.
I can tell you the way that probably would have gone for me, because I think I've said it. I hate vomiting so much. I just hate the feeling. Mm-hmm. And so what I'll do is I'll subject myself to typically, 8 to 12 hours of discomfort.
Oh man!
Instead of vomiting, so I'll sit there and do breathing and focus on that, and not touch food or water or anything, and just hopes that I don't vomit.
Yeah.
So I would be holding off.
Get it out. Again, we've talked about this. Rip the shirt off.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
Cough hard. Vomit's coming out.
Half panicked Steve, the left side of the cockpit, has got one hand ripping out.
Take my shirt off.
So the vomit actually happened with one arm out of your shirt. So one nipple showing.
Right. And meanwhile, the instructor's like, what are you doing? No, I got this.
You never vomited correctly before.
This will revolutionize the vomit industry.
So it ended up happening again. Steve finished his flight with a shirt over his left shoulder, half his stomach and chest showing.
Yeah.
The vomit trailing down into a bowl in the bottom where the shirt wrapped around, half of it into the bag.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate the sanitized version where he made it into the bag and he thanked you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what I would have done, I would have essentially put that off until the very last second, until I was mouth closed, knocking on things to get his attention, to be I don't know, give me something before I open the window, right?
You just open the door and bail.
Only way to vomit is not next to you. Known.
Yeah, so
I guess I'm curious what spurred the... obviously it's not like you never wanted to do it again, I don't think.
No, absolutely. It did not... didn't detract me at all from wanting to do it again. And for my birthday a couple of months ago, my lovely wife was tired of hearing me talk about it. She bought me a flight lesson.
Very nice.
And it's right here at the local county regional airport. And I did that about 2 weeks ago. And I loved it.
Okay.
And I didn't barf.
So you got back on the wagon.
Got back on the wagon.
Now, did you go in there dropping lingo again, going my plane, your plane? They
I knew my plane, your plane. I knew ailerons.
Okay,
that's another term.
Not gonna ask you that.
I don't really remember it, but yeah, flew that thing around for upwards of 0.7 hours.
So if you had to kind of differentiate the comfort level between 1 and 2, the first time and the second time, noticeable, not noticeable?
Oh, I was no more comfortable the second time than I was the first time.
But no vomit.
No vomit.
Did you feel the
Nope.
tides brewing of? Okay.
No, I was good.
So you got up there, you took it off, you landed it, while the other guy was pounding shooters.
Yep.
In the
He was on his iPad.
Because just much like international waters, international clouds, there's no law.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and just drink away.
Yeah.
Is this going to be did you book a third session?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you thinking I'm terrified at the thought of even asking.
Yeah.
You thinking winter flying?
No, I don't think that that's really advised.
Well, things freeze.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get those, again, you're on the ground and you got your winter cap on everything. You're starting that propeller with a rope.
Yep.
And then you get up in the clouds, and next thing you know, it's colder than
Pretty
they
cold,
thought.
yeah. And then little puffs of smoke come out of
That's right.
the pipes.
I could see that. I mean, that's obviously my fear, and I think that's normal, that the next flight's your last because you're going to die.
Yeah. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I'm going to die.
No question. So Steve now dies mid-flight. Hopefully we won't remember you as negatively as that one guy who tried to prove the Earth was flat by getting launched up by a stomp rocket.
Oh yeah,
The stomp
what was
rocket.
his name?
It was a dumb name
like
too.
Captain Crash or something. Maybe not. That would be a terrible name.
Bad name to have. Maybe the worst. If you're trying to prove the Earth is flat and you're getting launched up by one of those stomp rockets. So 10 people are jumping on one of those. What do they call those balloons that little toddlers jump on?
Oh yeah.
They look like a belly.
Yeah.
So about 10 people are jumping up on that, timing it
to launch.
to launch Captain Crash high enough that he can see that the Earth is flat.
Yeah. Kyle, I feel like we got to clear something up.
Yes. Well, I mean, no disrespect to Captain Crash's family.
It was not Captain Crash. We did some research during the break. It was Mad Mike Hughes.
Turns out Captain Crash might be a song. John Bon Jovi. Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars.
Was it about Mad Mike?
Has to have been playing in his little stomp rocket when Mad Mike was 80 feet above the Earth.
I remember talking about that years ago on this podcast. I believe one of our
I have the date.
Year in review shows included that. It was a fun conversation. We watched I can still picture the video of that stupid thing just launching up and then right back down. And if my memory is correct, it stuck into the earth like a lawn dart. But I don't remember particularly.
This was February 23,
Okay.
2020.
Oh,
So this was
pre-COVID.
It probably got a little lost in the weeds. I remember we shared a hearty giggle. Not at death. It's so hard to differentiate. Go listen to the podcast. Obviously, we weren't respectful, as you hear us talking about here. But did this guy really deserve it? Yeah, I don't know. He was a limousine driver turned stuntman.
Oh, wow. That's a unique career path.
So this is almost like if you think about, young Steve, the idea, this is what we just joked about.
Yeah.
People, I want to be, what'd you say Evelyn wanted to be?
A princess race car driver chef.
Yeah, so she has the same intellect that 64-year-old Mad Mike Hughes / Captain Crash had right before his death in 2020.
R.I.P.
Gone. Mostly forgotten.
I was going to say gone way too soon, but I feel like it was timed pretty well.
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
2 and 3. There we go. All right. What do we got over there?
This is looks to be monthly delivery from our friend, Billy Stacks.
Oh, Billy Stacks.
And this doesn't hold the same joy as it once did now that there's some banks merged and big corporation took over. So we no longer get to communicate with our friends at the BPPC.
Bill Payment Processing Center, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
So our condolences to those folks who definitely lost their jobs.
If you're driving by there and it's probably turned into a spirit Halloween by this point. The old Bill Payment Processing Center.
That they didn't have the monthly deposits from our friend Billy Stacks to hold them over. Okay, we are going to give this another try. We are on year 8 of trying to make letter openers happen. And I think this is the one.
Oh, see, you're already off. You got to go full
and then angled.
And then you got to go 1 and then reinsert and 2.
Is that the best one I've done?
Possibly your best effort.
I wasn't happy with it. I really want to figure out one fluid.
Well, you got
to
the
make that
wrinkle.
happen.
You had the wrinkle happen. It's because your angle was a bit off. But that's right. We'll
Comes with time. Comes with time. I mean, it's just, it used to be the perforated lines and everything, and now it's literally just a check in an envelope.
No,
and
it's so impersonal.
I really hate to put the onus on our friend Billy Stacks, who has been nothing but supportive in trying to make this podcast in the black for the first time ever. But this, if you could go find a new bank, and I don't think it's asking.
Is that too much to ask? No.
Move all of your accounts to this new bank, but make sure when you do that they are willing to send a perforated check at your expense, of course, to us on a monthly basis, and preferably using the middlemen and women in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the BPPC.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Too much to ask? I don't think so.
Maybe I'll email, because it says the credit union on here. Maybe I'll email them directly.
Shoot them an email,
and say I'd really appreciate the perforated lines.
I think you got to go a little more passive aggressive and be like, "What's up with no perforations?"
That's true. And, I feel like the use of passive there is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Okay. Hello. Hope you are well. What's up with the no perforations? Is that better?
Option B.
It does. Hope
hey,
all
do you
is
hate
well.
bringing happiness to folks?
Does hope all is well qualify as the passive in passive aggressive?
I'll post that on the poll.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, or like how the open emails. What is someone like the standard? Hope this email finds you well. Yeah. Same thing, right? Yeah. Like, okay, so I know a turd sandwich is about to come through the rest of this email, right?
Yeah.
We have a couple options I want to get to here.
Okay, what do you got?
And one is, did we want to break down the family's trip to Disney World?
Oh, absolutely.
Or did we want to get to the audio that has been pulled from a couple of weeks ago that I've titled a certain way?
I think we could probably get to both of them, right? That email or the audio clip?
Yeah.
It's a relatively short clip, right?
But before we get too far in the distant past, let me tell you that I am here for your needs in the next 6 months, 7 months.
Okay.
Because I think I could moonlight as a Disney vacation advisor.
Oh, Jesus.
And I hate patting myself on the back.
What's that sound? Is that the sound I hear of you patting yourself on the back?
No. You don't know what you're looking at. Your eyes deceive you. I'm gonna tell your pilot you can't see good.
Okay. Oh no, I gotta get my medical flight inspection. No, that's not what it's called. It's
the MFI.
No, it's what do they call it when you go to the doctor and they make sure that you're running well? Physical.
Oh, you gotta get
my flight medical physical.
I want you to bring your physical, like the little invoice they print out, and bring it to Captain Crash next time you go to pilot school. That's what I want you to do too. When you go, say, "Hey, Captain Crash," hand him that.
Hey,
say, "I'm ready for the next lesson in pilot school." And I just want to, because that's something that a 9-year-old would bring and do and act.
Yeah.
And I want you to do that and just see his reaction. But, okay.
Alrighty.
Didn't need your height, weight, BMI, and concerns about an ear infection. I just wanted to keep you updated in case I didn't hear you properly on the horn there, Captain Crash.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh boy, now I just want a logo with Captain Crunch. Captain Crash.
But in an airplane.
But a flattened stop rocket.
All right, if somebody could get to work on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Maybe we'll get the AI to do it.
Appreciate it. So, listen, this was 7 months of planning. And it was flew down Sunday, flew home Friday.
Okay.
And now we were in a bit of a different boat than what you are, at last I heard, you were thinking about doing for when you guys try to do a larger Disney trip than last time, because as we talked about, the last Disney trip you did was a 1 day while you were staying with your dad.
We went down. We had basically a long weekend, so we couldn't make a big trip out of it. So, and it was kind of, the whole trip really was kind of a last minute thing. We had been talking about maybe we'll go down and visit my dad. I don't know. And it was only a month before where we finally said, okay, let's just book the flights. And then it was even later than that, and it was like, why don't we go to Magic Kingdom for a day? Mm-hmm. So this was like last minute in that sense. Mm-hmm. So it was okay, yeah, cool. So we didn't have the months of prep time like a professional such as yourself.
As a be your guest advisor or whatever that I now am.
Am I going to get a Facebook invite to be friends with like Kyle's Magical Disney Tours?
No, and I can say that because I know that they don't make a penny, and so I don't know why people do it.
Okay.
Awful. Sounds awful. I appreciate people being willing to help, but my goodness, this is a multi-billion-dollar empire.
Yeah, they
have people out there who love it so much.
They don't need the help.
They just want to help other people go there and hope.
It's like our friend Leanne.
Yes.
Leanne's like that.
But she's they hope among crazies. All hoped that they will get a glimmer of that like feeling that they get when they go. And let me skip to the end in that regard. Mm-hmm. I do not have that.
Okay. I don't know if I would make that like the masthead on Kyle's Magical Disney Tours Facebook page.
Glimmer of joy? Not here.
Not for me, but maybe for you. It's kind of wordy.
I had this I'll recap the conversation I had with a friend the other night, if we have time, about that same topic. But yes, spent about 7 months planning this and paying for it and signing up for like the Disney Visa because you get money back off of your thing.
Wow,
and then,
so you're in. You're committed.
Yeah, so got all that and it was all done to the point where by the time we hit probably June or July, there's certain times that you can, if you want to, reserve in advance. So for some events in the parks, it's 60 days. For some type of other things, it's 7 days.
Okay. So this is just to get admission to them or to get like better seats or better line positioning or... The
60 days thing is usually experiences and character dining. Those extra... Right. And then other extras, like where I guess there's spots in the parks where they will dress you up, dress your child up and do makeup and whatever as a princess or a pirate or something.
Oh boy, have I seen the prices on that.
It's all bananas, right? Yeah. So Katie and I have talked about for years in terms of vacation. When we're doing it, when we've decided to do it, and when we're there, it doesn't help us, anybody, and it's not going to make us happier if we're sitting there gnashing teeth about how much things cost. Mm-hmm. We know it is. Yeah. I can't get a drink for $3, so I can go home and get a pack of 24 waters. Like, we all get it. We know it's more expensive. I get it.
It's a sporting event times 5. It's what it is.
Plan for it and try to just enjoy it beside that, or plan for it with alternatives. Make sure you have water packs. These are all things that you can make happen if you want to plan it. Mm-hmm. Or walk in with a thing of beef jerky, yell, "Where's the goof man?"
It's a little close to home.
No. There's a guy I saw.
Where's the goof man?
That's just a guy I saw when I was waiting in line.
Sure. Okay.
So, again, it was a Jack Links. to be specific.
Right. Yeah.
Although now that I think about it would have been funnier if I said Slim Jim.
In my mind, I'm wearing a coonskin cap too.
In Florida heat.
Right. I gotta keep the rays off my head.
Yeah, and then like 2 Crocs, 1 sock. Because again, this is a fly by the seat of your pants.
Sure.
And by the way, in hindsight, I didn't know any of these. I'd only been to Epcot with Katie, so I didn't know really any of the parks. So when we went to Magic Kingdom, the worst park to go to, especially for it. It's the biggest. It's the most popular. It's bananas.
Packed. It is so packed.
Absolutely bonkers there. But that's just an aside. So the time finally came. We were able to get the entire thing planned, booked, paid for, packed with our son with no notice for him.
Okay, he had no idea. That's awesome. That's really cool.
So we told him on Sunday morning we had to go to my mother-in-law's house, who was kind of halfway between us and the airport. They just went out of town for the weekend. We had to go water their flowers. And when we got there, the idea was my parents were going to be there.
Lie.
I want to raise this kid correctly, and he needs to know that Dad is going to lie to you a lot.
Sometimes it's going to result in surprises.
Yes.
Most of the time, though, it's not.
Most of the time, it's just something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like last night. Oh, yeah, Grandma and Grandpa and your cousins already ate dinner, so we can't go meet them. Sorry. Found that lie out, though, and we lost. But so my folks picked us up at my in-laws' house, and I put the bags in their vehicle while he was fake watering the flowers.
Yep.
And obviously he's confused. Why are Grandma and Grandpa here? And I said, oh, well, we're going to leave this car here because Papa was going to change the oil in Mom's car when he gets back.
Nice.
Until got to the airport. And then it was just eyes light up, inquisitive, wondering everything.
Did he even realize you were at the airport?
Yeah.
Like as you were pulling in,
yes.
He was like, wait, what do we do? Okay.
Yeah, he knew it was the airport. To his credit, Katie and I had a plan. I said, we're just going to wait as long as we can to tell him. Mm-hmm. But for our own sanity, if it's 1 million times in a row.
Where are we going?
Why don't you tell me yada yada? Or if it becomes like an emotional thing, which can happen with kids. I don't want to make this a bad memory to where he was crying because we wouldn't tell him where we're going.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Hey, we're taking you to prison. Like, I think it's a joke. And it's,
yes. Suddenly, like, TSA is surrounding you and questioning you.
I'll post it on the poll. Can you joke with your kids you're taking them to prison?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we got him all the way through our layover in North Carolina into the main Orlando airport, which is a zoo in its own right, Steve, and got all the way to the shuttle line before Katie and I decided we're going to tell him.
So he wasn't really asking?
He asked a couple of times.
Yeah.
But again, kids are dumb. And, it's not like he's checking airport call signs.
Right,
and understands what North Carolina or Florida, what that really means.
So what was your response? Like, oh, it's a surprise. We'll tell you when we get there or something? Okay.
Yep, you'll find out soon. So we kept telling me, you'll find out soon enough. Well, you'll know. So we got in line for the shuttle, which... Spoiler alert, if you're doing the main shuttle to Disney World or any of the resorts from that airport, just pay for an Uber. And if it's pay for an Uber with a car seat, do that too. Because the shuttles are very... You don't know when the next one's coming.
Yeah.
So the waiting was the worst part there because it's already been a decently long travel day. And now you're waiting just to get to the resort. And once you get to the resort... We had a grocery order we wanted delivered. He's going to want to go to the pool when he sees it. All of these things. So he's tired now, and now he's not grumpy, but we're losing him. So when we tell him, it's not as exuberant as what you want to see or what you'd hope, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I know he's excited, but for a 5-year-old, you don't want him to put on, say, oh yeah, extra. When man, I just want to be there, and I'm the same way.
Right,
I'm the same way. So obviously he's excited. We get there, and I got to tell you. We had Monday morning plans. We were going to Hollywood Studios. I had booked Lightning Lane passes. I can teach you all about those, no big deal.
Oh, the LLPs?
Yes, that's right. You're going to want the multi. You want the multi.
No?
Yeah, no, you are.
Oh, okay.
You're going to want to go multi-pass. For the whole fam. Well,
of course.
Maybe not for the whole fam. Obviously, Nikki B, you won't need him. He's a little guy. And we crushed Hollywood Studios to the point where I thought, I don't know if any of the following things that we've planned could go better.
Okay.
Just
so
because...
So you're thinking maybe, are you worried that you did all the good stuff first and that the rest of it's not going to live up?
No, I don't think it's necessarily a good stuff thing. It's more of there's no way the rest can go as smoothly.
Okay.
We got a little bit of rain, but we had like a lot of talks with him and us about the rain. Said, hey man, it's rainy season. It's no big deal. We've got these ponchos. We're going to dry out because it's hot. It's small. It's going to go fast. We're going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
So we just didn't want sad about rain.
Sure.
Nailed it.
My
No
kids
issues.
would have loved it. They would have been thrilled with it could rain every single day and they wouldn't be happier.
The only issue is everybody storms underneath roofs and the buildings that have cover, and the outdoor rides, they close. So then the other rides that are indoors, they get longer waits, whatever.
Yeah.
But we had booked Lightning Lanes for 3 different times to make sure we could do 3 of the bigger rides we wanted to do. I checked with Leanne if she thought it was feasible. She said absolutely. We did 2 or 3 additional rides. I booked him a time slot to build his own Star Wars droid, like R2-D2 and those things. You build it yourself, make your own parts, and
you get to keep it.
Bring it home, man. Got a remote control, make sounds, head spins, walks, and then found a little thing to get him a build his own lightsaber.
Okay.
Packed that puppy in there too. And we left that day, and I thought...
Lightsaber, of course, from Star Trek.
Obviously. Yep. Leonard Nimoy and Bill Shatner. We left that day, and I thought, part of me thinks, we should just can the rest because this went so good.
So just hit the road, catch an early flight, fly back, and say there it was. That was it. That was Disney World.
I had built in these breaks, so I knew Tuesday morning we weren't doing anything. We had a big day Monday. I knew we weren't doing anything Tuesday morning until we had the Halloween party that we were going to surprise them with Tuesday night.
Halloween party. Whew.
And then I
kind
knew
of early for a Halloween party, don't you
they
think?
start this in mid-August.
That is atrocious.
And it's at Magic Kingdom.
I'm surprised that you were okay with that.
Oh, no. I mean, I've gone to Florida 6 times over the past 10, 15 years to do the Halloween event.
I know you love your spookiness.
I do.
I know you do. But you also have very specific framework for what is appropriate for Halloween decorations or holiday decorations, like in general.
Oh, you want those rules right now? Thanks for asking.
Oh, boy, no. So
Spooky
I'm surprised.
season starts September 1st.
September 1st. Okay.
And it officially ends in the Kyle house October 31st at about 9 p.m. Okay? That means Reed's in bed.
you don't even give it till November 1st.
No, now there are rules. I'm not blowing out the jack-o'-lanterns. Those have to go out on their own.
Okay.
Okay, those are rules.
So what happens if you blow it out on your own?
Oh, you want to be haunted, Steve?
It's like 7 years of bad luck. Okay,
you want to be haunted.
Okay.
Try it. Try it. I dare you to blow out those jack-o'-lanterns and go meet up Captain Crash the next day. Let's see what happens. Bring your MFI.
My apologies. What was that again? My
medical
flight inspection.
Flight investigation.
Okay.
So we get to the Halloween party, and again, it's only night, so we spent the morning at the pool, kind of relaxed. And he's 5, going on 6. And I know this Halloween party, the Halloween stuff doesn't start until 7 o'clock. You can be in the park earlier. So we're in the park earlier. I don't know how long he's going to last. You know, you're on a kid's whim of their emotion, their tiredness, all of this. And we get there, and to this guy's credit, 5 years old. It's probably 11:45 at night. And we were on the bus. Because when you're on Disney property, Steve, I'm glad you asked. There's transportation methods to get you to all the parks.
Sure,
okay, so depending where you stay, you can get the Skyliner. Now, that's a gondola. It's going to go through the sky. It's where they call it the Skyliner.
I've heard of that.
And that'll take you to either Epcot or Hollywood Studios. Obviously, the Halloween party's at Magic Kingdom, like you thought. So that's a bus trip. No big deal.
Yeah.
Buses come by this resort. Oh, I'm sorry. Where did I stay? At the resort with the bus stop like 5 feet away. It's fine.
Yeah, don't they all have that?
Yes, sure. 11:45. There were adults, teens on this bus headed back to the resort, passed out on these chairs. And this kid is doing jumping jacks on the bus. That's how good.
So at this point, are you kind of worried now because you're like, oh no, he may have crossed over to the point of being tired and then really tired, but now he's getting like his 8th wind?
For him, I know we're in pretty good luck for a couple of reasons. One, because he acts that way as a lot of children do when they're tired, because they don't want to show that they're tired.
Yeah.
And 2, we hammer him with melatonin when we get back to make sure he passes out properly.
Is that recommended?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kids' gums. Buy them at Costco.
All right. Hey, yeah, as long as it says kid on it.
And he's used to it. It's like I don't even know what the milligram thing is. It gets his 2, like he calls them the strong gums, the regular vitamins, and then he takes this one at night. Okay.
So you drug the kid?
Absolutely. And then just to really make sure, get him some of that adult Robitussin DM. That's not true.
A couple of shots of scotch.
Right. That's right. So, I mean, he was out. He hit the bed, sat next to him. He was gone within minutes. But the Halloween party was a pretty good success. No rain. We saw the big Halloween parade. We got trick-or-treating. Got pounds of candy.
Nice.
Rode a bunch of the rides that I did not because I can't handle it. There was one called like Buzz Lightyear Space Spin. And if you're putting spin in the title, you're not getting me near it. Okay?
Oh, is that the one where you have like the little laser?
You do.
Yeah, I've been on that before.
And Katie had said that, you can spin, but the people on the cart spin, like you spin yourself. And I said, I can't be at the whim of somebody else spinning me around. I'll vomit. I had done the rides Monday. I went on Slinky Dog Dash. Now, that is a toddler's roller coaster. There's no upside down. There's no loops. There's no...
It's just like a slight left turn.
Right. And I got... I'll post the picture of me. Have I showed you this picture of me on Slinky Dog Dash? Because it does so much to encapsulate everything that you would think somebody with motion sickness would feel.
Again, Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah, which is based on the Slinky Dog from Toy Story.
Of course.
And it's one of their newer coasters, so it's very popular. So we had gone there first thing the morning of, so we didn't have to wait as long. And I went on that, and I thought, that's it. Not trying any more coasters. It's the first coaster I tried in 15 years, 16 years. And now that I think about it, the last coaster you did was probably 6 or 8 years ago, wasn't it? With Doug?
With Doug. It was probably six years ago. Yeah, I mean,
where you housed bacon, sausage, pancakes, waffles, vomited in the parking lot, and then wandered into Six Flags.
I went to Bob Evans for breakfast. Never again will I go to Bob Evans for breakfast.
And that's no slight on Bob Evans. Unless it is. But
no, I absolutely think it's a slight on Bob Evans.
I didn't know if you were just saying that.
No, it was terrible.
You ate too much.
It was terrible food. Also, we had gone to Hooters the night before. So I already had a belly full of wings and beer.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that was the time that you learned about my foolproof barf method of...
That is the picture of me on Slinky Dog Dash, Steve.
All right, let's see. So who are you're sitting in the back?
I'll isolate me.
I mean, Katie is having the time of her life.
Loves it.
Reed, again, having the time
Looks to
of
be
his
okay,
life.
at least.
Yeah. The big ginger next to you seems pretty happy. You have a smelled poop look on your face.
There was a point.
The middle of your face is very scrunched up.
There was a point where the coaster, and I guess a lot of these do this now. I don't know. I wouldn't know. They like stop, and you go backwards, and maybe you go down a different part of the track, and then you go again. So it stopped, and I turned to the guy next to me, who I told when I sat down, said, "Just so you know, sir, I hate roller coasters." He goes, "Oh, okay. I don't like them either." I said, "I don't know why we're here, bud." And so this thing stopped. And I said, oh, is it over? He goes, "Oh, no." And they do like almost a video game thing where it's like ding, ding, ding. And there's like decorations on the side start spinning. Yeah. And you shoot off like a rocket again. So I think that was during that portion where I thought we were maybe done, but I wasn't saved. So yeah, we did the Halloween party the next day because again, I had planned this out. Nothing in the morning. Met a couple of friends who live in Florida. That's right. No big deal. I have friends. And
you got FFs, Florida friends.
Yeah, no big deal. Well, they were Missouri friends, but moved. So met with them in the afternoon. Hung out at our pool in the morning and the evening. Didn't really do anything that day to kind of cool down. Thursday, we were back at Animal Kingdom, Steve, which was our last day where we booked the character breakfast, which you had done. I guess I didn't realize you did.
We did. Yeah, I think we did a character lunch.
Okay, same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And boy, am I glad.
It was the whole Winnie the Pooh gang.
Boy, am I glad we got like the ones we each respectively got. Because obviously for your daughter, the Cinderella and Winnie the Pooh thing was better. If Reed had gotten that one, I think we'd have been out of there after about 15 minutes.
Okay.
But we got the one with, it had Mickey and Goofy and Donald and Daisy and
I think Donald was at ours too.
Yeah, they have like four usually.
They kind of an interloper. You know, we were looking for just the
just one of the big dogs,
just the gang from Pooh. But you know, we were in a big Winnie the Pooh stage at that point. But,
sure.
But I think Donald made his way in.
What a delight that breakfast was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the food is fine. Whatever. That's not even what I'm talking about. But to see a 5-year-old who hasn't watched Mickey. Mm-hmm. And this is what really cemented it. Like, okay, this vacation for me was a resounding success, and I don't need to do it again. Was the joy on his face seeing like the first character walk through and know that he's going to come to our table.
Yeah,
and I think we missed Mickey by a few minutes, so we waited for him to come back around.
Yeah,
so it was either Donald or Daisy or whatever. And he had his autograph book. Out, open to a page, and ready to go. the joy on his face when he saw him coming even nearby, I thought, that's it. We did it.
Yeah.
I don't care that this breakfast just cost me $174. Okay.
And then they have the audacity to ask for a tip.
They ask for a tip.
When it's a buffet.
They ask for a tip when it's a buffet. And the only reason I felt obligated to tip, well, one, because you don't want to be that guy. But two, at least at the place we were at, they serve or they come by and fill your drinks and tell you about everything, but they also clean all those tables too and get the same person. They don't have like a separate people coming to bust the tables. But
they are getting paid to be there. It is employment.
Absolutely unbelievable. So did that, spent the rest of our day in Animal Kingdom or the morning. And I think by Thursday afternoon, Steve, you could see we were crashing out, but the stamina, that's a big trip for adults, let alone for kids too. He was kind of crashing out a little bit. Didn't want to stay at Animal Kingdom as long, so we let Katie go on one of the coasters a couple times because Reed and I weren't going to do that, and went back, hung out at the pool. Next morning, we were gone.
Hit the airport.
There was one point, and as I wrap up this recap, I apologize for the lengthiness. There was one point where I thought maybe this is the Disney magical moment I need to make me a Disney person. And I look back on it now and think, nah. But it was still very cool.
Sure.
We had convinced Reed to go on, it's their newest ride or one of their newest rides, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's at Magic Kingdom based on Princess and the Frog.
Yep.
We've never seen it. I didn't know anything about it. But I know it's their newest ride. I know it's a log flume. I love a log flume.
Okay.
Love a log flume.
You're pro log flume.
Love a vertical drop.
Really?
Love it. Tower of Terror.
But not a
Kato coaster.
roller coaster.
For some reason, I wonder if it's just the strict up-downness.
Yeah.
That you still feel that in your stomach and in your body.
Right.
But it doesn't leave me affected.
Okay.
Whereas a coaster, I think it's a mix of the up-down and the tilts and the
side
speed,
to side,
maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, love Tower of Terror. Reed and Katie will never do it again. And that's fine. That's not for everybody. But we go on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We convince Reed, who's now very nervous because is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? When's it going to drop? How high is it going to drop? And we know the signs say 50 foot. That's not a tiny drop.
No. But it's also not something you can explain to a 5, not quite 6-year-old either. Like, he's not going to understand the height.
Well, you can if you lie. And tell him 10 feet.
Okay.
And then when you get done, tell him you misread it.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, I did that.
Feel good about that?
I had to get him on the ride, man. I mean, there was no way we had to... Here's the thing. I knew he would at least somewhat be okay with it and enjoy it if we could just get him on there.
Right.
And it wasn't like a coercing him. He said, I'll go. And I said, okay. But it's when he saw that sign, said, what does that say? And I said, oh, it says there's a drop. And so that's when he was nervous about how big, all of the very specifics that he wouldn't understand if you explained it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we got on there and it was raining outside, which we talked about it does. No big deal. And we get on the ride and you take a tour through the bayou and it's swampy and there's frogs singing and people baking for some reason. I don't know. I've never seen the movie. Until finally you get to the point where you go up a couple of times. So the first time you go up and you're outside when you're up. And you know what? We didn't plan this. The Halloween fireworks started.
Oh.
So we're probably, however high up on this ride, outside with the world's perfect view of these fireworks happening in front of our face.
Okay.
All the while a 5-year-old's going, are we going to drop again? I know the answer, but I'm trying to force this.
Kid, we're just going to keep going up forever.
I know the answer, but I'm trying to force this Disney magical moment on myself.
Look at the damn fireworks,
Look at those! They're bursting in the sky, kid! But the last one, when you go up in a pitch black tunnel, but they do like green fog and lasers up. So it looks like you're going into space or nothing. And there's no way to explain to the kid. They're like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. And then we're going to go down. So we do it. And you get to that top and the fireworks are still exploding. Some light rain falling on your head. You do that 50-foot drop in the dark. Fantastic.
Okay.
I loved it. Reed hated it. We'll never do it again.
Well, look, you had to get something out of this trip for yourself too.
Absolutely.
You know,
Tower of Terror.
You got a couple roller coaster rides.
Yes.
some fireworks, because I know that you love the flashy things.
I do love the big boomers.
Boom booms.
Yep, although, but not for myself, though, anymore. Don't even buy them anymore. Haven't bought it. Nope. But yeah, so we left Friday and thought about it for the past few weeks, and actually told a friend Friday night, I said, I wish I had something that people treat Disney as in their life, right? And I'm talking about that portion of the population who adores it so much they go multiple times a year. They claim it's like it is their happiest place to be, and it's transformational.
Nope.
And I said, I wish I had that. And that's coming from somebody to me. I don't mind theme parks, Steve. I like them in general. I love walking into Universal Studios and seeing, Marvel Comics Island and walking back around like the Woody Woodpecker and all of the zone. I love that stuff. I do. I enjoy it. But going to Disney, leaving Disney, and as an adult, really, and as adult only, I never went as a kid. I don't know. I left. I thought it was fine. It was a good trip. We had a great trip.
What about haunted houses?
Sure.
Spooky season.
Love it.
You could go to one of them multiple times a year, right?
Definitely could.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be the closest thing for me.
Yeah.
But not that I left Disney disappointed. I knew what it was. I went there. Everybody will tell you Disney's not what it was 20, 30 years ago, because Disney is a multi-billion-dollar empire at this point that's based around merchandise. And that's exactly what it is still. So when I'm sitting there going on It's a Small World, which is the most brutally awful ride I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yeah.
It's not a small world. If you're on, it's a small world. The world's too big, and we need to close some of that off. I think Trump's right. I didn't expect your recap of your Disney trip to end with a political hot take. Listen, the wall is the future.
Oh, boy.
And we don't need any planes flying in from out of country.
Okay,
so that's the rule. Englanders, Aussies,
get out.
Stay on your own island. We got
That's
our own.
right.
I'm sorry, ours is bigger. Not our fault.
So just England and Australia?
Yeah, those two.
Okay.
Those two particularly.
Okay.
That's where the invaders come from. I can't wait. So,
well, it sounds like you had a great time.
So if you want to send me just your starting questionnaire, and I'll get you off on the right foot of how to handle this, and because you are 6 months away from possibly.
We haven't talked about it in a bit.
I'd like to get an update on that from you.
Okay.
If you
I'll
want
let Annette know that you're waiting on a response.
Yeah. If you want to loop me in as Kyle's magical Disney advisor.
Okay. Yeah, I'll CC you on the text.
Byline, not for me, as we said earlier.
But maybe for you.
I'd like to get involved in that to make sure you guys get off on the right foot.
Okay.
On this upcoming, because you're already in the green.
Plan in 2025.
If you're not staying at Disney. If you're going to be staying with your dad, you're already in the black.
I don't know. It's too early to tell. Look, we don't plan stuff until the month before.
I know you said it's too early. I want to tell you that by the Kyle calendar, the KC, you're a month late.
The Kai-Cal?
Kai-Cal, you're a month late.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be sure to have information for you next week.
Please reach out. I'd like a budget, dates.
Okay. Yeah,
and goals.
You want to throw me out a budget? What are we talking here? For your experience.
Well, it'd be different. I'll say this. On resort, what we did, 5 days, I can get you there, home, good vacation, $3,000 plus
No,
incidentals.
not a chance. Absolutely no. Talk to you next week. See ya.